Hi, I'm Adam Radley. I'm the founder of IIMAGINE. Let's talk about how to create an automated growth machine, or AGM, for your business. If you take the time to understand all of this and implement it, I genuinely believe it will be the single most important thing you can do for your business. The simple summary of how to grow a business is to understand the customer journey, then optimize each step. So this is what we'll cover in this video. How to generate leads, maximize the conversion rate from leads to paying customer, maximize the revenue per customer, maximize the number of reviews from customers, maximize the use of automation so that we can minimize the time, effort, and money required to run this strategy. Now, before we start, you're probably thinking, who am I and why should you listen to me? Now, nobody likes long answers to that question, so I'm going to answer it in 60 seconds. When the internet became a thing, I created one of the world's first online education companies and raised $100 million for it. I created an event called World Reconciliation Day that was held at a football stadium, and my company donated $1 million to Nelson Mandela's charity. In fact, I've been involved with a lot of non-profit projects because that's something that's very important to me. I created a private equity fund that focused on buying tech businesses in the United States. As a result of that, I lived in California for 15 years. My TEDx talk about passion has more than 1 million views, and that's only 1% of my story. I've experienced a lot of success and a lot of failure. If you're just getting started, I'm pretty sure you need to listen to what I have to say. What am I doing now? I'm the founder of IIMAGINE.AI and IIMAGINE Digital. IIMAGINE.AI is a platform that allows people to use industry-specific chatbots to help them manage their business. IIMAGINE Digital is the sister company to the AI platform. Some people use the AI platform to do everything themselves. The digital agency is for people that want us to do it for them. It focuses on providing business growth and automation services, including custom AI chatbots. Okay, now let's get into it. And let's start by getting clear about why all of this matters and why you need an AGM. The simple summary of how to grow a business is to understand the customer journey, then optimize each step. So what is the customer journey? You need to generate traffic to your website, then convert the traffic into leads, then convert the leads into paying customers. If you only convert 0.5% of the visitors to your website into customers, then you optimized each point in the customer journey, then your conversion rate could easily rise to 1%. This means 2x revenue, and for some businesses, that can mean 10x profit. Okay, this is the summary of the AGM. Create content to establish authority. Capture leads, nurture leads, convert leads into paying customers, generate reviews and referrals. So what makes this different from other marketing strategies? We're going to automate all of it. I've created a series of articles about 101 growth strategies that I'm also turning into videos. Think of these 101 strategies as fuel that you can put into the machine. The more fuel you give it, the bigger the results. So why do you need an AGM? It can optimize every step in the customer journey better than a human. It takes less time to implement and execute than a human, and it costs less money than a human. If you don't use the AGM, you'll only be able to use 2 or 3 growth strategies. If you use the AGM, you can use 10 or 20 or 50 because it automates and optimizes everything. Now let's talk about the first part of the machine, content. Why do you need to do it? It's 2023. Every year that goes by, it becomes more and more difficult to grow a business without a content strategy. Let's talk about why this is so critical and the best way to do it for your business. Now, the best way to explain this is to use an example. So let's just say that your content strategy just consisted of creating 1 new piece of high quality content per week and posting it on your blog and social channels. Now, it doesn't have to be once per week, and it doesn't have to be an article. You can create other types of content. I'll talk about how to adjust this simple plan to fit your personal preferences later. For now, I just want to use a simple example to explain some very important concepts. Then, when you understand the concepts, you can go ahead and adjust the plan in any way you like. Let's start by looking at the benefits of this very simple strategy. Authority. You'll build authority with your prospective customers. Trust factors. Adding articles to your website is an important trust factor. Search engine optimization. Your article could rank for some important keywords. Social media. You'll have content ready for social media. Email marketing. You'll have content ready for email marketing. Advertising. If you decide to use ads, this content will increase your conversion rates. If you want to collaborate with other people that don't know you, your content will increase the likelihood of success. Referrals. If you want other people to refer clients to you, your content will increase the likelihood of success. So let's break all of this down into more detail. How does creating this content establish and build authority? If you include a statement in your website that says, I have 10 years of experience, the first thing that occurs to me is that I don't give a crap about how many years of experience you have. I can't tell you how many people I've met that really do have 10 years or even 20 years of experience, then turned out to be completely useless. When you say, I have 10 years of experience, and don't give me any more information, you're essentially asking me to trust you. Why should I trust you? The point I'm trying to make here is this: don't tell me, show me. If I see an article on your website with the title, How to Solve Problem X, and the article says something like, this is a common challenge in the industry, and there's a lot of misinformation out there, here's the right way to solve problem X. Now, instead of just knowing the number of years of experience you have, I can see some verifiable evidence of your ability to solve the problem. You'll solve the problem with your ability, not with the number of years you've been doing what you're doing. So the summary is simple. This type of content builds trust and authority by demonstrating your ability to solve a specific problem, as opposed to telling people to trust you and assume that you have the required ability because you have many years of experience. This is why people that have YouTube channels and a social media presence end up generating a lot of leads compared to other people that don't have the public presence, but do in fact have more years of experience. These people are demonstrating their ability, and that's what most customers want. Okay, how does creating content improve your trust factors on your website? Prospective customers are more likely to trust you if you include high-quality content on your website that gives them some insight into your views on the most important issues in your industry. Generic content makes you look like everybody else. Content that demonstrates your unique take, combined with whatever it is that makes you different, increases trust because people that have unique insights are perceived to be people that have a deep understanding of their industry. Nobody cares about generic information. What's the unique thing that you're bringing to the table? Okay, how does creating content improve search engine optimization? If you create an article that contains high quality content, there's a possibility that your article will rank well in the search results and bring visitors to your website, all without you spending an extra dollar of your money or an extra minute of your time, or even understanding what SEO means. In the meantime, if you do decide that you want to proactively implement an SEO strategy that involves all of the usual SEO tactics, you'll have a massive head start, because the most important and most difficult part of SEO is creating high quality content. How does creating content help with social media? Some of you might be wondering whether you should even use social media as part of your marketing strategy. A significant portion of people try to find out if you are a real business by looking at your social media presence. If you don't use social media, or your social media feed is dormant, then you appear to be dormant. My point being that even if social media does not generate one new lead for your business, I can almost guarantee you that it plays a big role in whether visitors to your website decide to contact you. Therefore, your minimum strategy for social media should be to pick at least one social platform and be active on it once a week. I suggest you focus on the social platform that your clients like to use. If they use more than one, pick the one you like best. Now, of course, one way to be active on social media is to share thoughts about the weather or a cat video, but you'll build much more trust and authority by posting your weekly piece of content. You won't have to waste time thinking about what to post on social or learning how the algorithm works. Just take that one piece of content that you create each week and post it. This will make your business appear to be active instead of dormant, and if somebody actually reads your high quality content, they'll actually be impressed instead of being skeptical. In the meantime, if you decide that you want to be more proactive on social by engaging with other people in your industry or prospective clients, you'll build a lot more trust and authority with them, as well as attracting more followers. Okay, how does creating content help with email marketing? The first question you might have here is whether you should even use email marketing. If you create an email list, the people on that list will fit into one of two categories. One category will be your existing customers, and the other category will be your newsletter subscribers. These are people that have already bought your services or expressed interest in your services. It's much easier to convince these people to buy something from you than it is to convince cold leads to buy something from you. In fact, some research indicates that you are 80% more likely to make a sale to an existing customer or somebody that's already on your email list compared to somebody that's not on your email list. In the meantime, sending the email costs almost nothing. So how do you build an email list? Well, the best way to do it is to create a piece of content that solves an important problem and demonstrates your expertise. Then invite the reader to sign up and receive updates when you release similar content. The weekly piece of content that I'm suggesting you create will take care of all of the heavy lifting for this strategy. You just have to send an email telling people to check out your new content. And if you solve a real problem that matters to them, they'll actually want to read it. The other critical role that your content plays in email marketing is giving you a legitimate reason for emailing them in the first place. If you don't have high quality content that solves an important problem for the people on your email list, then your email marketing campaigns will likely consist of sales pitches to buy your products or services. People have no interest in receiving these emails. Your open rates and click-through rates will fall, and the number of people that unsubscribe will increase. This is a massive problem for most email marketers. If you create one piece of high-quality content per week, this entire problem goes away, and you'll be outperforming 90% of email marketers. Now, some of you that are big fans of social media and don't like email probably think that the people on your email list are likely to already be following you on social media, and therefore they'll receive updates when you post on social, so there's no need to email them. You're wrong about that. Firstly, you cannot assume that everyone on your email list is following you on social. Second, the algorithms on the major social channels do not send all of your posts to all of your followers. The percentage of followers that receive your post is called reach. It can be as high as 90%, but it can also be as low as 5%, depending on various factors. In this scenario, only 1 in 20 followers are receiving your post. And third, even if a social follower does receive your post, it doesn't mean that they'll actually see it. Their feed could be overflowing, or they might have turned off their notifications. So how does creating content help with your advertising? Instead of just advertising your services, you can advertise the solution outlined in your article. Again, don't just tell people that you can solve a problem, prove it. If you decide to run regular advertising that brings traffic to your website, it's not likely that these prospective clients will simply review the landing page and buy something. A significant percentage of them will take a look around the rest of your website and review all of the trust factors that I'm always talking about before deciding whether they want to become a paying customer. And one of the most important trust factors is your content, because it demonstrates your skills and expertise. This increases your conversion rates and could be the difference between a successful advertising campaign and a failed advertising campaign. Now, you have to agree that this is a pretty incredible list of benefits from just creating a weekly blog post. But there are also some long-term benefits. If you commit to doing this for 6 months, you'll have 26 articles. Congratulations, you're now an authority in your field. If you do some minor search engine optimization and mention the articles in some industry groups and forums, you'll also be generating a consistent flow of leads. The constantly updated blog, social media, and email also means that you'll be top of mind in the minds of your clients. Somebody might sign up to your newsletter or follow you on social today, but they might not need your services until 6 months in the future. If you're no longer in contact with them when they decide they want to buy, they won't think of you, and they'll buy from whoever does have their attention at the time. Not only do you lose the client to a competitor, the time, money, and effort that went into attracting this prospect to your website has all been wasted. Also keep in mind that the steady supply of weekly content for 6 months or 26 weeks also serves as 26 demonstrations of your expertise. So when the time comes, the prospect will be aware of you and also know that you're capable and credible. This will dramatically increase the likelihood that they'll choose you. Remember that being aware of you is critical, but it might not be enough. You still have to differentiate yourself from your competitors. I've recommended this strategy to a lot of people, and I'm surprised at how many of them said that the research required to create the content ended up making them more of an expert than they were before they created the content. And the process of writing the content forced them to think about how to articulate the key issues in a way that's meaningful to their target market. In some cases, they decided to adjust their offers. In other cases, it made them better at selling their products and services to prospective clients. So as you can probably see by now, this is like making an investment. And like all good investments, the sooner you start, the sooner you get the payoff. Now let's talk about how to create the content. Up until now, we've been using this 1 article per month example. This is the part where we can talk about how to adjust the content plan to fit your personal preferences and circumstances. Let's start with the content type. It doesn't have to be a written article. The 3 forms of content you can create are text, audio, and video. Text will usually be an article or a blog, audio will usually be a podcast, and video will usually be a YouTube channel. There's a lot of obvious factors that contribute to your decision about which type of content to create, including time, budget, the extent of your personal involvement, the way your prospective clients prefer to consume content, and whether you prefer to write, talk, or be on camera. What about the originality of the content? Does your content need to be original? The answer is no. You can use content created by other people. This is what we call curated content, but there's an important but. The strategy won't work as well. If you take the view that creating original content will be time-consuming and you decide to simply link to content created by other people, you'll be able to post these links on your website, in your email marketing campaigns, and on your social media. However, you'll be demonstrating the skills and expertise of the original creators of the content, as opposed to demonstrating any of your own skills or expertise. If you want to go down this road, the best approach will be to add your comments to the curated content. This is something that you can do with a few sentences rather than a full article or a full episode of audio or video, and you can consider combining any of these strategies. For example, if you want to produce your own original long-form content once per month, you can release curated content in between your long-form content in order to execute all parts of this strategy. This is where you have to make a judgment call. Consider all the factors and then make a decision based on your needs and personal preferences. What about the author of the content? You don't have to create the content yourself. If you prefer not to create the content yourself and you have a budget, you can easily find freelancers that will create the content for you. Keep in mind that people that do this kind of work range in skill from terrible to excellent. So you'll need to be prepared to provide some kind of outline for the content that you want, and you should also be prepared to test out several freelancers before finding the best people for the job. In the meantime, if we're talking about articles, just use IIMAGINE and do it with AI. What about frequency? It doesn't have to be weekly. It can be more or less frequent. However, I would say that you should aim for no less frequent than once a month. If you decide to release content less frequently than once a month, then I suggest you post a paragraph of content on social media once a week. It can just be your views about something happening in your industry or community. This will help to avoid looking like a dormant business. Now let's talk about the topic. It's critical to make sure that your content builds a bridge between an important problem that your prospective client wants to solve and the specific products or services you want to offer. Think very carefully about what this means. This is the single most important concept in content marketing. It's so important, I'm going to repeat it. It's critical to make sure that your content builds a bridge between an important problem that your prospective client wants to solve and the specific products and services you want to sell. It is okay to create content where you provide your general opinion about general industry news if that's something that you enjoy doing. But keep in mind that the only benefit of doing this is the fact that you're enjoying doing it, because this content may not build a bridge between prospective customers and the products or services that you offer. For example, if you're a photographer, it makes sense to create content about how to make the wedding event space as photogenic as possible, because this content is valuable to your prospective client and naturally leads to the services you're selling. If you created content about the latest updates in editing software, you'll attract interest from other photographers, but you won't attract interest from prospective clients. Again, it's okay to produce content about topics that you enjoy. However, when you're creating content for the purpose of generating revenue, you need to create content about topics that naturally lead to the services you want to sell. Make sure you understand and execute this critical point. Now, some of you might be wondering how to develop content ideas. Look at forums, social groups, topics at industry events. Look at major pain points that prospective clients are constantly complaining about and struggling to solve. Let's talk about calls to action. You need to include calls to action in your content. The calls to action should relate to offering your products or services or inviting them to subscribe to your newsletter. When it comes to offering your products and services, there are different ways to approach this. For example, provide value by telling your prospective clients how to do something the right way, then offer to do it for them in order to make sure it's done right. Explain how important it is for your prospective client to solve a problem that they thought was less important than it actually is. Then offer your services to solve that problem. Explain the common approach for solving an important problem and let your prospective clients know that this common approach is not good enough because it doesn't solve the problem very well, or maybe it creates new problems. Then offer your services to solve the problem the right way. This is also a good time to mention your unique selling proposition. When it comes to inviting prospective clients to subscribe to your newsletter, the best approach is to include a very simple opt-in form in the middle of your article and at the end of your article. If the quality of your content is high, prospective customers will be interested in consuming more of it. If you're not producing articles and produce audio or video content instead, you should still be directing your listeners to a page on your website where they can join your email list in order to receive alerts when you release new content. Now, it takes a lot of time and effort to create these videos. If you think this content is useful, I'd appreciate it if you just take 1 second to give the video a like. So now let's talk about automations. There's a lot of tools that automate different segments of the customer journey. Some are good, some are bad. Some are free, some are expensive. The tools that you'll see in this video are mostly WordPress tools, but we've done a lot of custom coding to make them work the way that we want them to work. You don't have to use my tools. You can do anything you want. For the purpose of this video, I just want you to focus on and understand the concepts rather than getting bogged down in the user interface of various tools. Now, everything's easier to understand with an example, so let's assume that we provide wedding photography services and we offer a gold, silver and bronze package. Our unique selling proposition is that we provide a free consulting session to help people design their wedding space to make it as photogenic as possible. People can get access to the free consulting session by setting up an appointment on our website. Our objective here is to generate new leads, and we'll direct them to our website where we want them to set up an appointment for a free consultation. Then we'll attempt to convert them into paying customers during the call. So we'll start by creating a dedicated landing page that includes our unique selling proposition. Something like, you only get one chance to make your wedding day look like the best day of your life. Set up a time for a chat. We'll be happy to give you as much free advice as you need, and you won't be under any obligation to work with us. Now, why does this work? You've included your USP so people can easily understand what makes you different and why people should choose you over your competitors. You're offering free advice about something that's very important to them. Now let's talk about the trust factors on your website. Before people buy something or sign up for something or decide to make time for a call, they usually start roaming around your site. Why? They're looking for reasons to work with you or not work with you. So what exactly are they looking for? This is what the research tells us about websites. 48% of users say that the website design is the most important factor in determining a business's credibility. Let that sink in. They don't care about your experience. They want a pretty website. 94% of first impressions are design related. 38% of users will stop engaging with a website if the layout is unattractive. 75% of users judge a company's credibility based on its website design. Mobile devices account for over half of internet traffic. So what does your site look like on mobile? So the summary is that most people think that your website is a representation of your business. If your website looks outdated, unprofessional, and reflects a lack of competence, then people think the same way about your business. If you're a small business, then people think the same way about you. So design matters. If your website looks unprofessional, this is where the customer journey will end. Now, of course, there are some other trust factors that we need to consider, such as independent opinions. People want to see reviews, case studies, or testimonials. People want to hear what other people think of you, not just what you think of yourself. Now, if you're selling something like a software product, this might be less important because you can offer a free trial and people can do their own test drive. But if people have to spend money before they get anything, they need to see reviews. They also want to see evidence of skills and expertise. The best way to demonstrate your skills and expertise is by producing content that can only be created by people that have the necessary skills and expertise to create it. Then put that content on your website and on social media. If you don't do this, then you're effectively asking people to trust you. As I said earlier, your marketing message cannot be, trust me, I'll do a really good job because I have 10 years of experience. Nobody has any way to verify your experience, and it might not make any difference for a lot of people. Don't tell people that you're good at what you do, show them. And don't just show them once, show them multiple times. These are just 3 important trust factors that you need to address, but there are 30 of them. I made a separate video about them. Check out the link in the description. Now let's talk about setting appointments. If you have a budget of literally 0, then you can use a regular contact form to set appointments, but this is not the optimal solution. You need to use an appointment app that can integrate with your CRM so that you don't have to spend any time doing everything manually. So how does this work? You decide which member of your team will take the calls and set available times for prospects to choose from based on your availability. Your prospects will enter their name and email. When they click submit, they'll be automatically added to your CRM as a new contact, and they'll automatically be tagged as a prospect that signed up for a free consultation. Then a reminder email will be automatically sent to the prospect before the call. This is critical because you need to maximize the percentage of people that actually show up for the call, and this is the best way to do it. I hope you took notice of how many critical steps were taken care of automatically. When you do the call, you need to make sure that you don't waste time with the wrong people, so you should always ask a small number of qualifying questions first. For example, has the wedding date been set? Have you selected a venue, etc.? You can start by saying, in order to help you, I want to ask some basic questions first. When you're done with the call, your prospects will fall into one of 2 categories: people that buy and people that don't buy. Let's talk about how to handle both. Again, this should be automated so that you don't have to do anything yourself. And this leads us into the nurture sequence. For the people that did not buy, the worst thing you can do is to forget about them and move on. These people have expressed an interest in your services, and they can be converted into customers with an automated digital marketing system that doesn't require you to do anything. This alone could be the difference between success and failure in your business. And you can do this by putting all of these prospects into an automated nurture sequence, where you send them periodic emails with the objective of converting them into customers over time. But sending random emails that pitch your products or services is the wrong way to do it. Instead of just talking about your products or services in these emails, Send them something that they actually want, like content that helps them prepare for their wedding and also naturally leads to your products and services. As I mentioned earlier, this content must meet both criteria, not just one or the other. For example, you could send them one tip per week for 5 weeks that explains how they can prepare their wedding space in a way that makes it more photogenic. So why does this work? As I said earlier, a prospect might do a free consulting call with you today, or sign up for your newsletter or follow you on social, but they might not need your services until 6 months into the future. Sending them valuable content periodically allows you to remain top of mind in the mind of your prospect. If you're no longer in contact with them when they decide they want to buy, they won't think of you. They'll go ahead and buy from whoever has their attention at the time. So you not only lose the client to a competitor, the time and money and effort that went into attracting this prospect to your website and doing a consulting call has all been wasted. Also remember that the steady supply of valuable content over 5 weeks also serves as 5 demonstrations of your skills and expertise. So when the time comes, the prospect will not only be aware of you, they'll also know that you're capable and credible. The combination of these factors dramatically increases the likelihood that they'll choose you. So why is this concept of a nurturing sequence so critical? People need to know, like, and trust you, also known as KLT, before they're willing to buy from you. I'm sure you've heard of statistics that tell us that people often need between 15 and 25 touch points with a business before they buy from them. If you don't have a strategy for nurturing prospects over time in a way that genuinely builds KLT, then you're wasting a huge portion of the time, energy, and money that you're putting into generating prospects. And I also want to clarify that this relates to the majority of your prospects, not the minority. The majority of your sales will come from prospects that have been exposed to an effective nurture sequence of some kind. If you don't do this, you'll only make 10 to 20% of the sales that you could make. Maximizing revenue per customer. We've talked about how to handle the people that don't buy. Now let's talk about how to handle the people that do buy. It's nice to have people buying, but if you're watching one of my videos, you know that that's still not good enough. Our objective here is not to just take any revenue we can get, it's to maximize the revenue per customer. In this example, we have 3 packages for sale: gold, silver, and bronze. Most customers will select one and check out. That's good, but we can do better. If you have customers that have made a decision to buy from you, then, statistically, a certain percentage of them will buy additional complementary products or services at the same time. You can take advantage of this in 2 ways. Include an order bump on the checkout page. In this case, the order bump could be an offer to buy an extra photo album at a discount. Order bumps work well for offers that are not very expensive compared to the product or service the customer just bought. Offer an upsell. This is where you attempt to convince the customer to upgrade to something bigger and better than the product or service they just bought. In this example, you could try to convince the customer that selected the silver package to upgrade to the gold package with a substantial discount. But you'll need to tell the customer that this is going to be a one-time offer. It's important to note that this automation happens after the checkout page, meaning that the customer has already made a decision to proceed and has already paid and cannot change their mind and choose not to buy anything. The only thing that the customer can do is make a decision about whether they want to stick with their original purchase or accept this one-time offer to upgrade. It's also important to remember that approximately 70% of checkouts are abandoned without making a purchase. So make sure you set up a cart abandonment tool that will automatically follow up with prospects and attempt to address their concerns. Now, the same principles apply to products and services that are sold without a shopping cart. You will just offer upsells in a presentation or a conversation. Maximize reviews. When you've completed the service, the next step will be to ask for a review or a testimonial or a case study, depending on what will work best for your particular target audience. Most people send out an email or do a call with a customer and ask for a review. This can be time consuming, so you should automate it. When you've delivered a product or completed a project, you should be able to mark that project as complete and automatically trigger an automation that works like this. Your customer will receive an email asking them whether they're satisfied or unsatisfied. When they click on one or the other, a tag will be automatically added to this customer that tells you whether the customer is satisfied or unsatisfied. If a customer clicks satisfied, they'll automatically receive another email asking them to write a review. And then they'll automatically receive another email asking them to send you referrals. The people that click unsatisfied will automatically receive a different email asking them for more information about how you can help them resolve their issue. I hope you can see how incredibly powerful this is. This allows you to keep track of which customers are satisfied versus unsatisfied and execute a different plan for each of them. If you do what everybody else does and ask every customer for a review, the people that are unsatisfied will write a bad review, and their issues will never be resolved. In our example, the automation only asks for a review from people that are satisfied, and those reviews will all be positive. And all of the people that are unsatisfied have been identified and put into a process that will attempt to resolve their issue. Think about how many reviews this will generate without you doing anything compared to how much time and effort this would take if you had to do it manually. Measuring success. How will you measure success? It's not as simple as counting the number of customers you acquired. The most important thing in marketing is understanding your customer acquisition cost, also known as CAC or CAC, and some other related metrics. You need to measure how much it costs to acquire a new customer by using this marketing strategy, and then compare it to your alternative marketing strategies. For example, if you spent $500 to attract 100 prospects to your site, then 5 of them signed up for a free consultation. Then you converted one of them into a customer that spends an average of $2,000, then your numbers will look like this. $500 in advertising spend resulted in 100 clicks. That's $5 per click. You converted 5% of them into leads, and you converted 1% of them into a paying customer. That's a customer acquisition cost of $500, and you made $1,500 profit. Of course, that assumes that you're doing the work yourself. You obviously need to adjust these numbers to reflect your situation. This shows you how much you can spend on acquiring customers before reaching a point where your profit is too low. Now, let's go back to the beginning and look at our super simple starting point. The simple summary of how to grow a business is to understand the customer journey and then optimize each step. So you need multiple strategies for generating visitors to your website, and you need to convert those visitors into paying customers over time. So how do you deal with number 1? I've created a series of articles about 101 business growth strategies. I'm also in the process of making videos for each of them. I'm not expecting you to do all 101 of them. They involve different timelines, budget, and skill sets. You need to pick out 5 or so that are a good fit for your specific circumstances and your personal preferences. Then implement them and refine them over time. And then add more strategies and refine them over time. So how do you deal with number 2? This is where you need automation. The only thing stopping you from executing 101 growth strategies and skyrocketing your revenue by 100x is time and resources. You can solve that problem with automation. So now you have 2 options. 1, go ahead and create this yourself. 2, get us to do it for you. If you want us to do it for you, we'll work with you to figure out your objectives and your pain points, and then develop a version of the AGM that's been customized for your specific objectives and circumstances. Now that can include a 30-page website that addresses 30 trust factors and everything you need for e-commerce, advanced marketing funnels, a fully featured CRM with email marketing built in, more than 100 automations set up and pre-configured, and multiple AI chatbots. I say it can include because some of you already have these things and we don't need to replace them. But if you need them, we can create all of it. For most of you, the ability to have everything you need instantly set up and ready to go so that you can get customers 101 different ways will be the difference between success and failure. If you ask a digital agency to set this up for you, you'll find that 90% of them simply don't have the skills or ability to do it. If you talk to one of the 10% that do know how to do it, they'll charge $20,000. If you do it yourself, you could easily spend $1,000 a month on tools. That's $12,000 a year. And it'll take you months to get going because there's an enormous amount of friction involved with setting up the entire strategy and making the tools work together. We'll do it for you for $1,995. We'll do it for you for $2,995, for $2,450. We'll do this for you for $3,995. We'll do this for you for $4,995. We'll do this for $9,995. And we can get it done in a week, not months. If you want us to create the ongoing content required to sustain this strategy, we can do that too. There's no set price for that service because we don't know what type of content and how much content you need. Now, some of you will obviously have more complex requirements. In that case, we can create a custom plan and pricing. In the meantime, you're not going to find many people with my background available to work with you. This is the optimal strategy for growing a business. I challenge anyone to name a better strategy. The only decision you need to make is to decide whether you want to do it yourself or whether you want to get us to do it for you. The best way to make that decision is to talk to me. Set up a call, I'll ask about your objectives and pain points, then I promise to give you my very best ideas about how to solve your problems and achieve your goals. I also promise to not put you under any pressure to work with me. In fact, I'm going to give you permission to hang up on me if I do that. My only objective is to finish a call knowing that I had a positive impact of some kind. If we end up working together, great. If not, that's also great. So that's it. I look forward to seeing you on the IIMAGINE platform or working with you directly. I've included links to everything in the description. I've also included links to related videos. I'll see you in the next video.